Shout out to Twitter user GameOver30. They said you don't have to look any further than Square Enix to see an industry largely focused on making sure games are available to a maximal number of end consumers. Hashtag Final Fantasy VII. Then he said moving to multi-platform often means modifying the underlying workflows so that games are structured for it during development. Basically porting the games and ensuring that you can get the games to other platforms. However, in this case, I think, it goes without saying that Square Enix is very well versed with their Final Fantasy pipeline as well as other pipelines to boot. Now, apparently, there was a conversation going on, and Jez Corden pretty much cited this one statement. I don't know exactly what the context is, but we'll look at that. He said, "I do like Xbox," in quote. Square Enix's Final Fantasy VII director discusses taking the game multi-platform in a new interview. Interesting. So click this and let's go to Windows Central as well as Games Radar, where another article is written. So Games Radar's headline we're going to read, it says, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's director is an Xbox fan. No, he ain't. He went and signed an exclusivity deal with PlayStation. Anyways, I'm just being tongue in cheek. He might be, but company policy, he had to follow suit. And with Square Enix testing multi-platform waters, he says he wants to begin the JRPG. He wants to bring the JRPG. Maybe this means bring. Maybe this was supposed to be, it's a typo. Yeah, E and R are right by each other on the keyboard. Okay, I'm going to keep reading. He wants to bring the JRPG to as many players out there as possible. Windows Central's own title says, I think it's a great hardware platform. I do like Xbox. Final Fantasy VII Remake director wants to bring the game to as many players as possible, hinting an Xbox version. All right. So here I am again, sitting very quietly, and I'm not bothering the exclusivity conversation. I was going to sit on the Call of Duty numbers. We're going to do the PlayStation document, just the regular weekly output, right? And then boom, bada bing, boom, pow. What do we have here? We have Final Fantasy VII's director signaling that, this Xbox platform that PlayStation hyper fans continue to dog on is one that's viable. Now, as somebody who, plays on PC, I've been doing some modifications. Dark1984, I got a few videos lined up for you. Hopefully, fingers crossed, some parts show up in the mail very soon. We're going to walk through some, tidbits that I think can kind of help whoever wants to move to PC from the console side, kind of see what, is really out there. But this conversation has gone to the point where, right now, a lot of the exclusivity talk is just starting to wane more and more. You can't help but think this whole conversation about why these games went exclusive in the first place needs to be really funny at the end of the day, that they probably maybe overplayed their hands. They thought with so-called PlayStation's hardware, uplift in their sales was going to somehow help them, not knowing that a lot of PlayStation fans are over there playing Call of Duty. I mean, total console sales for Call of Duty was 82% on PlayStation. Do you see where a lot of the attention is going, Square Enix? Now, here's what's funny, man. Somebody said in Jez's, thread, this person said, if this game, that's Final Fantasy VII, finally comes to Xbox, not on Game Pass, you don't have to qualify. It's all the same thing. Let's go ahead and scratch this off because y'all were saying Game Pass is blah, 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 blah. So please leave it in there. I hope y'all MFs actually buy the games for once. Y'all are all talk and no action. Final Fantasy always sells poorly on Xbox consoles, and y'all wonder why Xbox was skipped for so long. Want more Final Fantasy? Prove them wrong. Now, this is classic deflection, classic gaslighting, and classic basically blaming somebody for what y'all are doing. They're PlayStation fans. Here is why you're seeing these conversations happen. Y'all are no longer buying these Final Fantasy games anymore. You see, the entire shift has happened, and for the most part, players are in a sense going back to their default programming. And what is the default programming of PlayStation fans? The constant, consistent, always playing of Call of Duty. We look at the data over and over again, and every single time that we see y'all have Call of Duty in your hands. This is pretty much the reality right now that we're seeing, and that's why Final Fantasy is looking around going, who's going to buy our games? They ran to PC. PC bought as much as they wanted to buy. Then they looked and said, well, PlayStation done bought all they want to buy. I guess we probably need to pivot and go where else? Oh, yeah. I like the Xbox platform as a platform, said the Final Fantasy developer. He all of a sudden woke up and remember, oh my gosh, there's a console that can actually play our games. Goodness gracious, it's Xbox, right? But I'm sure y'all know, seeing how the data pretty much skews, that at the end of the day, who all is playing Call of Duty? It's y'all PlayStation fans. So this comment on Twitter that went ahead and said, y'all MFs, please, let's not start calling names. Let's actually just say you guys on the PlayStation side need to set the example by actually proving to us where your 61 million consoles actually went to, other than becoming Xbox's de facto playing Call of Duty to the tune of 86% in full console game dollar sales in October. Whoa. And November has not been, even looked at, and December has not been looked at, and y'all are blowing money on Xbox's, account. Now, Xbox ain't mad at y'all, just saying, but for anybody to try to do this, I think is a strong deflection. Let's go ahead and look at this particular thing in regard to this article here. Final Fantasy director Naoki Hamaguchi, it's crazy. Yoshi P was already saying, and now again, they have another director talking about this is an Xbox fan and would love to see PS5 exclusive RPG reach a wider audience someday. Now, I don't know, nobody knows when this game is going to come to Xbox, but by the time it's ready to come to Xbox, it's going to be $19.99 or Game Pass or whatever it is. And most Final Fantasy fans, they've checked out. They're going to be Wu Chang fans very soon, I mean, again, Wukong didn't show up, so Wu Chang says, we're going to help you all out with some Chinese RPG here. And I'm sure Xbox fans and 505 Games are looking forward to that partnership very soon. Hamaguchi sat down with Games Radar Plus shortly before taking the stage with other 2024 Golden Joysticks Award winners, as the game netted 4 of its 6 nominated categories. In terms of Final Fantasy VII, there's nothing really we can say at the moment. Of course, NDAs, but certainly I do want to bring Final Fantasy and the Remake series to as many players out there as possible. Now, this is already a PC guaranteed number. I mean, now this game, though, I will have to say it did sell better than Final Fantasy 16. I mean, if we look really, I have a little bookmarked tweet that I put back here, a while ago, which I used to basically, a PlayStation fanboy was arguing with somebody else and I saw it and I was like, oh, that's good for me to be able to reference in terms of data. And you could see that, its sales were somewhat healthier, than what you saw in Final Fantasy 16. But at the end of the day, guys, there's not much that needs to be said here. These third-party publishers, they want to make money, and money they'll make. And where money is where the platform holders or platform, customers are, which are PlayStation, which is the biggest in terms of both consoles, Xbox and PlayStation. I won't talk about Nintendo. If their game could go to Nintendo, I guarantee you they'd have put it on there. Then you have Xbox, and then, overall, bigger than both of them is PC. Well, here are the numbers. I found it, so it's here. So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth sold 3.5 million copies around the time that this snapshot was taken. This is a tweet from their own Twitter account, I'm sure. And I think Final Fantasy VII Remake, I think that sold about 10 million copies, if I'm not correct. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe less, but last I saw was that. And Final Fantasy 16 sold 3 million. This screenshot puts it all together. Profits did not meet the expectations. Profit did not meet the expectations. They were also, trying to, this person was defending PlayStation and trying to throw in Tomb Raider and Guardians of the Galaxy as if to say, well, that's always what Square Enix says. You know how, that narrative came up as a defense, not knowing, just so that, so-called PlayStation fans who champion exclusivity could save face. And I tell the Xbox community as well, y'all keep saying you want Xbox to make their games exclusive, but the reality is you really want to lean on PC. Let's just call it what it is, because PC is going to carry you. Why? Because even Xbox players carry the same exact behavior as the PlayStation players. They are also playing Call of Duty and Madden and FIFA and Fortnite as well. So if Xbox left its games in y'all's hands to carry, I don't think you would do that good of a job without the PC platform, just saying, and then Game Pass is there to kind of help. So again, not saying that this is a knock on anybody, but this is the reality. So if Xbox says there's no red line, then basically what they're saying is, y'all got to come up with the sales, y'all got to come up with the purchases to support, the exclusivity thing, if that's your, shtick, and then we'll probably keep it on the platform, just like Starfield remains on the platform. 15 million players, it unsold itself into profitability, and till date is still churning out profit. You can even tell how healthy the game is on a sales perspective, seeing that over a year later, and even as this holiday is coming, it's, the times it's been marked down has been significantly, measured. They haven't just dumped the price point down, it's still a thing that people can still go in and buy. I'm waiting for a price drop on Steam because I want to play it on Steam, or even a price drop on the Xbox platform. At this point, I couldn't even be bothered at all, honestly, because I'd have played, I played like 20 or so hours on my Xbox and PC, play anywhere, and I would like to go back and complete it. So at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, all of these folk that are talking about this stuff, they really do miss out on exactly what's going on, or they purposefully block their eyes away from seeing what the reality is, which is right now, if your game is not everywhere, you will see thunder and fire in terms of sales. That exclusivity money that you take on the front end, when it's time for you to make more games, your own community will look at you and say, hey, man, you forgot about us. So before we can come back and play Final Fantasy 18 on Xbox, you got to let us see 16. You got to let us see 17, right? So, or you've abandoned us, so we're going to abandon you. And I think players are now matching the energy of these companies in many, many regards. Let's talk in the comment section. Appreciate you guys' time and audience, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.